let's talk about your market area. And
Okay.
I completely understand why. And once we got word of that entire metro extension, right, and access from not only the people mover that they're building,
Right.
which is an interesting project on its own, right? I want to see
It's
it
very interesting.
post build, right? But more important is the new station there that it leads to, and then the gradual linkage, right, all the way ultimately, whether it's with light rail or bus to the red line even. I mean, that's
Right.
way north of LAX, right? Connecting from Crenshaw to Wilshire, and at that point, a subway station there that will eventually link to Santa Monica, and then of course east to Union Station, and and further connect the city. I think it's a great project. But when I heard about that, instantly I knew this is a great opportunity for agents to cover this area, right? I mean,
Right.
we're going to start to see developers now interested because one of their number one wants is always they're saying we want a high walking score. We'd love to be just right next to a station, and unfortunately, a lot of that land is already gone, right? There were
Right.
some
It's
front
already
movers,
gone.
but anything close to it or in vicinity, or there's a story for where mass transit can help people that rent and live there, commute to work and back and forth. So it's super exciting. So talk to us about what you're kind of looking at in that area, along with the Ram Stadium. I know Inglewood is in the process of, because we looked at some of the zoning and there were some requests for us, and the mayor had and the council were trying to get some of those rezoned up, right? Because even though they were on a major through street there, the
Right.
zoning was a little bit limited for multifamily, if that makes sense. But I know they were in the works of trying to get those upzoned. But talk to us about what your marketing efforts are and what kind of developers have been looking at around that area.
Okay. Well, I like to tell people I don't have a particular product type.
Mhm.
I just focus on my niche area.
Mhm.
So it's from Crenshaw corridor, from Coliseum,
Mhm.
all the way when it goes down to Florence and turn down Florence into Inglewood. So
Mhm.
everything along the train line. So that's when I always started focusing on that. The interesting way that became my actual market area when I first started working at commercial real estate,
Mhm.
I was told that I could only cold call this particular area. And the particular area I was only allowed to cold call because it was very strict on your particular area you cold call it in the company I was working with was the Crenshaw corridor and Inglewood, which was a little square.
Yeah.
So 6 or 7 years later, well not 6, well 4 to 5 years later,
Mhm.
once they announced the train line, once they announced the stadium and
Yes.
the housing prices started going up, I
Yes.
already had a lot of relationship with the owners in that area.
That's
I
great.
already had that relationship built in. So
Yeah.
this is like a no-brainer why I just, continually concentrate on that particular area.
Hmm.
And so what I'm saying, a lot of people want to be closer, like you were saying, a lot of people want to be close to the train line.
Yeah.
And for instance, like the Crenshaw corridor around the 43rd Street,
Hmm.
it's also, you're in a TOC 3 zone,
Yes.
and you're also in the opportunity zone.
Right.
So you could use on top of every single thing, just stack all those different funds available for you there. So that's why it's such a hot area, particularly where my client just purchased the deal at on Stocker.
Yeah.
So that's the area I'm really focusing in on right now.
Hmm.
And just the housing shortage and with so many people looking for housing in the city of Inglewood.
Hmm.
And now that you got rent control, like, okay, you have rent control.
Yeah.
So the value of the apartment buildings are holding steady.
Right.
The value of the land is rising because now it makes more sense to actually do a tear down than
Right.
it is about an apartment building because you can go up on a rent control and you can just start with the rents with the new.
Absolutely.
So a lot of those lot owners and a lot of the single family homes or the triplexes on the zones like R1.5 or higher, then those are the ones I'm really targeting right now and just talking to different peoples.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think there's that early work that you did networking is going to
Right.
pay through right now based on that. And so that's we try to tell our users, and when we market to brokers, is the key thing is that these projects get announced also with specific plans or updates to the master plans for cities. And so yeah, it does take a while, and even though they're in drafts, sometimes we don't know when it's going to be in effect, but like Hollywood has been kind of in
Right.
limbo for a couple of years now. But eventually they will. And so early work marketing and establishing relationships with the owners is vital and key for brokers, because I think what you just mentioned is that even if you're in differing parts, if you know that something is potentially coming up in the pipeline, and when it does, that's when the upside happens for a lot
Right.
of owners. So can't agree more.